This is KVUE News Daybreak.
We cannot and must not pretend that things can continue as they are. Things need to change.
Strong words this morning from the British Prime Minister after yet another terror attack over the weekend. What officials say about the suspects and how leaders are vowing to fight back.
And major cities in the U.S. on high alert after the attacks in London. What officials are doing here at home to try and reduce the threat.
And tragedy over the weekend at Lady Bird Lake in Austin. The victim of a drowning now identified. Coming up, what officials say he went into the water to get. Good morning and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak. It is 5 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. It is Monday, June 5th. Let's get a look at what we're tracking with Storm Team meteorologist Erica Lopez.
Well, we're tracking some storm chances to kick off your work week. For this morning, things are rather quiet. Temperature's not too bad. We're waking up to temps near 70, and dew points are bearable, at least in the mid to upper 60s. Some very light showers just east of Marble Falls, commuting down to 81. We've seen on and off light rain, nothing excessive this morning. But keep in mind that a spotty shower is possible. We're calling it a 20% chance of that spotty shower this morning. The heaviest rain remains south of us. Afternoon showers is going to be our main concern today. Notice just after lunchtime, we're going to increase rain shower chances to about a 60% for this evening. One or two of these storms could be on the stronger side, but for this morning, we're in the clear. Anna Reyes has the latest on traffic this morning. She's keeping an eye on the roads for you.
Absolutely right. Thank you, Erica. Good morning. All right, this is a live look at your TxDOT cameras. This is Mopac traveling northbound at Enfield Road. So if you are traveling northbound, just keep in mind you are being diverted to the left lanes this morning. So usually you are being moved on over to the right 2 lanes, but this morning just make sure that you are traveling on the left 2 lanes. This is a live look at your Austin Metro map. We are monitoring one crash here. This is northeast Austin. This is at High Point Cove at Loyola Lane. So definitely if you're trying to travel onto 183, use caution as you are traveling in this area. Brian, Yvonne, back to you.
Anna, thanks. Now to the very latest on the terror attacks in London happening over the weekend. ISIS now claiming responsibility, but Londoners say they will not be intimidated. Meanwhile, authorities say they have made significant progress in identifying the 3 suspects allegedly responsible for the attack. ABC's Lana Zach tells us from London to here in the U.S., leaders vowing to fight back.
Flowers and police on the streets of London this morning. The city and its people courageous in the face of terrorism. Police today are continuing their searches and questioning following the deadly terrorist attack that left 7 victims dead and at least 48 injured Saturday night.
The taxi driver just swerved towards me and screamed at his window, like, "Run, you have to run, they've got a knife."
So many stories of courage.
As soon as I saw this, the gentleman, I said, look, I'm going to try and hit him. I'm going to try and knock him down. He was just randomly stabbing people.
ISIS claimed responsibility, but the authorities vowed to fight back.
We cannot and must not pretend that things can continue as they are. There is, to be frank, far too much tolerance of extremism in our country.
Here in the United States, President Trump expressed solidarity.
I will do what is necessary to prevent this threat from spreading to our shores and work every single day to protect the safety and security of our country, our communities, and our people.
His initial response coming on Twitter also renewed calls for his controversial travel ban and criticized the mayor of London. This was the 3rd terror attack in the UK since March. In Manchester, Brits remembered the victims of the last attack, and they vowed to stay strong and carry on.
Investigators are currently saying that they do not believe that the Manchester and London attacks were coordinated, but they do represent a cluster of independent attacks that have been building for some time. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
The London Bridge attack, the 3rd terror attack in the United Kingdom in 3 months. 6 people were killed then, including the suspect, in an attack outside Parliament there at the end of March. 1 American among those killed. Then just last month, the suicide bomber attack. Fans, of course, at that Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, 22 people, including children, were killed.
Ariana Grande and thousands of fans showed up, and they showed their resilience in Manchester. Just hours after a terror attack in London, some of the music industry's biggest acts, I should say, took the stage in the UK. Ariana Grande leading the charge for a benefit concert in Manchester, 2 weeks after the deadly bombing there. More than 14,000 free tickets were set aside for fans from the original concert. The benefit concert raised nearly $3 million. The proceeds will go to the victims of the Manchester attack and their families. Well, this morning, major cities in the U.S. on alert after the attacks in London. The fear, a copycat. In New York, there is heavier security presence at key locations like Times Square, and more patrols are present at airports, bridges, tunnels, and mass transit. The FBI is saying they're concerned about 2,000 potential terrorists in the U.S., and half of those may have had contact with terror groups like ISIS.
Governor Greg Abbott expected to make an announcement this week on whether or not he'll call a special session. The governor originally said he would share his decision on Friday of last week, but his office then said there wouldn't be an announcement until after the weekend. Abbott under pressure to bring lawmakers back to deal with unresolved debates on property tax and the so-called bathroom bill.
Well, the city of Austin is joining the legal fight against Senate Bill 4. That's the newly passed law requiring all Texas law enforcement honor ICE detainers. Austin is asking a federal judge to add the city as a plaintiff in a lawsuit filed last week by the city of San Antonio and 4 other parties. It also asked the judge to declare SB 4 unconstitutional. Mayor Steve Adler told reporters the overall basis of the lawsuit is to protect public safety. Numerous police chiefs from across Texas say SB 4 will harm the relationships they've established with immigrant communities. And Mayor Adler says SB 4 also has an impact on free speech.
This law provides that an elected official, such as myself, could be removed for office for endorsing a policy that is contrary to Senate Bill 4.
Well, they can also face criminal charges. That's what, well, actually, let me repeat this. Not only can officials be removed from office, but they can also face criminal charges for not complying. Another claim is in Austin's lawsuit is SB 4 that it violates the supremacy clause of the Constitution. The U.S. government has exclusive authority over immigration, not cities. Being in the U.S. undocumented is a civil, not criminal charge, and Austin police can't arrest someone for a civil infraction. SB 4 goes into effect September 1st. The cities and organizations suing the state are asking for a ruling before the law goes into effect.
This week, President Donald Trump focusing on some of his campaign promises, including jobs and our country's crumbling infrastructure. Today at the White House, he'll propose privatizing the air traffic control system in an effort to boost jobs. On Wednesday, he'll be in Ohio to talk about improvements to the nation's infrastructure, like roads and waterways. He'll wrap things up Friday with a visit to the Department of Transportation to discuss regulatory reform for roads and railways.
Well, former FBI Director James Comey is expected to testify on Capitol Hill this week. It's his first time speaking publicly since he was fired. Lawmakers are expected to grill Comey on whether President Trump pressured him to drop the investigation into ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. Over the weekend, the New York Times quoted an unnamed White House source saying President Trump doesn't plan to invoke executive privilege. If he did, it could stop Comey from testifying.
5:08 now, and today authorities could confirm the identity of the man who drowned in Lady Bird Lake Saturday morning. According to family members, 34-year-old Teddy Allen Carter lost his life trying to help a friend. Austin police tell us a man was on the First Street Bridge overlooking the lake with a woman when the woman's purse fell into the water. The man ran down to the shore and jumped in to try and get the purse, but the man never resurfaced. Crews recovered his body after 5 hours of searching.
Well, the man accused of killing a University of Texas student and injuring 3 others last month is set to appear in court this Friday. A judge is still awaiting to see if Kendricks White is fit to stand trial for murder. His mental state at the time of the attack will be the main subject of this week's hearing. White's attorneys could argue he is not guilty by insanity. According to the Austin American-Statesman, this could determine if he serves a sentence in a mental health facility or a state prison.
All right, take a look at this photo. It popped up over the weekend. Maybe you've seen this. At first glance, it looks like the man is just mowing his lawn, but take a closer look at what's behind the fence there. A tornado is on the ground. This taken in Alberta, Canada, and it looks like the man didn't notice the tornado behind him, but he says he was keeping an eye on it. but just wanted to finish his yard. You know, when you start the yard, you can't just leave it half done, even if there's a tornado over the fence.
Mackerel.
His wife said it wasn't as close as it appears in the picture, but fascinating picture there nonetheless. Let's take a look. Oh,
Not impressed. He doesn't seem impressed by that twister.
When you mow the yard, you got to finish, Erica. You can't leave that yard half mowed, right?
Oh, for sure. And Brian has no excuse to continue his mowing lawn duties this week because we're talking lots of sunshine in the forecast. You guys are going to love the forecast. Here's what you're waking up to this morning. Temps near 70, but we do have some mid to lower 60s for the hill country. Austin, you're at 68. Lago Vista, you're at 70 degrees, and Pflugerville a couple degrees cooler than that. Plenty of 70s for our eastern counties. Very, very light rain has been spotted for parts of the hill country, but other than that, it's a spotty shower that could be seen this morning, just a 20% chance of that spotty shower. This afternoon, we're talking the chance of thunderstorms. Now, I know we're probably sick of the rain chances we've been chatting about the past couple of weeks, but today's actually the last rain chance that we're tracking for the entire upcoming work week. Keep in mind, today, 90 degrees is your high, partly sunny. This afternoon, a 60% chance of some possible thunderstorms are in the forecast. I'm going to break down hour by hour what we can expect and also give you details of the sun that's on the way just in time for the first full week of summer for many of you guys. Guys, back to you.
Erica, thank you. Golden State still perfect in the playoffs. The Warriors took care of business in Game 2 of the finals. Last night in Oakland, Kevin Durant led the way again for Golden State. He had 33 points, 13 boards, 6 assists, 5 blocks, and 3 steals. Pretty good night. Steph Curry wasn't far behind. He had 32 points. LeBron had a triple-double for Cleveland, 29 points, 11 boards, and 14 assists. But again, not enough help for LeBron. The Warriors were up only 3 at the half, but they took off in the second half. They're now 14-0 in the postseason, 132-113. The final last night. The series now shifts to Cleveland for games 3 and 4. Game 3 Wednesday night right here on KVUE. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. I understand, Yvonne, that last night we lost our signal for a bit of the game.
I saw that email.
We upset a lot of people. We apologize for that. It obviously was not intentional.
Maybe they're more upset that they still have their signal now.
Yeah, we're sorry we couldn't take the brunt of that, and you lost the game. But
okay.
Maybe next time we'll stay on the air the whole time.
Yes. Well, a Texas teen saved by her love for tennis.
Oh, an injury on the court led to a shocking discovery.
Plus, can breast implants give you cancer? What you need to know before going under the knife.